John Romita Jr. He is one of those artists that you either like or you don't. It's all about taste. While some artists change their art decades at a time, Romita isn't afraid to experiment. Would I say his work is the greatest? Well, we have to look at his work ethic too. His characters are a bit blocky, boxier if that's a word, and a bit greedy. From what I know, at one point he was working on 2 books at the same time and was getting published every month. I just can't remember what those comics were. If you know, let me know in the comments section. But if you think about it, that takes time and insane work hours to finish on a deadline, plus a team of course helping you. People have to understand it's just more than drawing. It's the ink, it's the editing, and the time that goes into it. Writers and artists are also pressured to rush so the next comic can be released. You can only do so much. A few comics I have to mention: Wolverine, Enemy of State, Kick-Ass, The Amazing Spider-Man, and lastly, Daredevil, Man Without Fear. But what do you think of his art? Dan Mora. He knows how to draw personalities very well. In certain panels and covers, it looks simple and clean, but also it has a hint of greediness to it. I love his random art pieces he puts out on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, look at his creativity working on the Batman posters. He's been slowly climbing to be the top 10 artist in my book. He's a combination of Jim Lee and maybe Greg Capullo, just in my opinion though. A few comics worth mentioning: Batman Superman World's Finest #1, Adventures of the Super Sons, Go Go Power Rangers, and I haven't read this one yet, but I hear it's his baby, his once and future comic. I can't wait to see what else he has in store for us in the future. I feel like he's related to George Jimenez, am I right? Now there's Jim Lee. Infamous stories that pop into my head right now: Batman Hush, Superman Unchained, Justice League #1, The New 52, All-Star Batman, Uncanny X-Men, X-Men Annual #1, and the list goes on. There's so much to unpack with these stories. I'd like to reread them and talk about them, but one of my favorite things about his art is how dynamic and clean he is with his characters. And there's something I have to mention: his art gives like that 90s vibes. People are either a fan of it or they're not. That of course can be said with anything. I love that he stresses his pencil drawing just a bit more with the coloring. You can see the streaks on the final product, and that's because he leaves the pencil shading as is. If you want to learn his style, he actually streams on Twitch of himself working on some projects he likes to share. But you know what, you guys should follow me on YouTube because, well, I'm gonna stream soon. Lee Bermejo, he has done a lot with Batman. I mean, there isn't much to say, but damn, I want that on my wall right now. He has to be the son of Alex Ross. Just look at Alex's art and then his. I'm not saying I'm putting him on the map. What I'm saying is, where is the love? I do not hear his name in conversations. It is gothic and dark. I think his art is an original design to the DC characters. Look at Batman's suit. It is very tactical and it has less spandex. Even his Joker has an original design. He has a signature you can recognize in an artist. You know it's Lee Bermejo when you see it. Who do you think is underrated? And are you gonna go see the new Batman movie this weekend? Humberto's art style to his characters gives a slick, loose, and cartoonish feel. Just look at his Spider-Man drawings. Now, I'm not an artist myself, but do you see something that pops into your head? I'll give you some time. But his art has vastly improved. Artists are always trying to perfect themselves with each creations they make. There are stories to be told in different ways, and Humberto's art shows that. He plays with his art. He redesigns Spider-Man with each other arc, even his webbing. And I would also say he gives more emphasis on the look of Spider-Man's face than any other character, even when he's wearing the mask. His art isn't for everybody, but I think he improved a whole lot, and I enjoy reading and looking through his Spider-Man comics throughout the years. He's definitely grown on me. Paolo Rivera. Wow, just wow. It's like he's the son of Alex Ross. Just take a look at this beautiful piece of the Justice League and tell me it does not remind you of the DC Universe game trailer.
Bring him to me!
I feel like when I look at his painted work, he loves to do concept art for movies, series, games, you name it. And I would love to see an animated form of his work. Paolo used to paint his work, but then has moved on to penciling, inking, and coloring. I recommend you picking up Daredevil Volume 3 #1, The Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 2 Issue 14, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 Issue 638, and Mythos Captain America Volume 1 Issue 1. Who else should I talk about? Let me know.